I'll be honest, one of the hardest parts about living with health anxiety is the constant fear that I might be making choices that quietly harm my health. Food especially feels tricky, because every meal feels like it could either support my body or set me up for problems down the road. That's why nutrition labels have become one of the most valuable tools I use. They take the mystery out of eating. Instead of trusting marketing slogans or pretty packaging, I can see exactly what's in the food, compare my options, and feel more in control. For a long time, I never really paid attention to nutrition labels. If something looked healthy or said all natural, I thought I was making a good choice. But the front of a package is advertising. It's meant to sell, not to inform. The truth is always in the black and white nutrition facts box and the ingredient list. And once I learned how to actually read and understand those numbers, it completely changed the way I shop and eat. The first thing I always check is serving size. This one can be sneaky. A package might look like it's meant for one person, but when you read the label, you see it actually contains 2 or 3 servings. That means all the calories, sugar, and sodium listed have to be multiplied if you eat the whole thing. For example, a small bag of chips might list 160 calories per serving. But if there are 3 servings in the bag and you finish it in one sitting, you've really eaten 480 calories. That's the kind of hidden detail that makes a huge difference in my overall diet and helps me avoid the silent weight creep that used to trigger my anxiety. Calories themselves are another area I pay close attention to. They're not the enemy. We need calories for energy. But too many, especially from processed foods, can lead to obesity and metabolic issues. For me, watching calories on the label isn't about obsessively counting every one, but about balance. If I have something calorie-heavy earlier in the day, I can plan lighter meals later. That simple awareness makes me feel like I'm steering my health in the right direction instead of leaving it to chance. After calories, I move straight to added sugars. This one was a wake-up call for me. The American Heart Association suggests no more than 36 grams of added sugar per day for men and 25 grams for women. But when you look at labels, you'll see how quickly that limit can be blown. A single soda can have nearly 40 grams of sugar, more than the recommended daily max in one drink. And sugar isn't just in desserts. It's in yogurt, granola bars, pasta sauces, and even breads. For someone with health anxiety, sugar is a huge deal. Excess sugar is linked to obesity, type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and even cognitive decline. That list used to terrify me. But now, instead of letting the fear spiral, I can read the label and make an active choice. If one product has 18 grams of sugar and another has 6 grams, I know exactly which one supports my long-term health better. Sodium is another number I track closely. Too much sodium is strongly connected to high blood pressure, which raises the risk of heart disease and stroke. The daily recommended limit is 2,300 milligrams, but aiming for around 1,500 is even better. Some frozen meals or canned soups pack over 1,000 milligrams in a single serving. That's half a day's worth in one dish. Knowing this helps me steer clear of foods that could quietly push my blood pressure higher and gives me peace of mind that I'm protecting my heart. Then there's fat, which gets more complicated. For years, I thought fat was bad and low fat was automatically good. But no, I know it's about the type of fat. Healthy fats like monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fats support heart health, brain function, and hormone balance. On the flip side, high amounts of saturated fat can raise LDL cholesterol, and trans fats are dangerous because they increase inflammation and heart disease risk. Thankfully, most trans fats have been banned, but checking the label ensures I know exactly what kind of fats I'm eating. That clarity matters, especially when anxiety tries to convince me every bite is a risk. Fiber is one of my favorite numbers to see on a label, because most of us don't get enough. Fiber helps regulate digestion, lowers cholesterol, supports gut health, and keeps me feeling full. The daily goal is about 25 grams for women and 38 grams for men, but most people fall short. I've learned to look for higher fiber foods because they make me feel healthier and they reduce my fear of colon issues, which used to be a big source of my worry. Protein is another key nutrient I check. It's critical for building and repairing tissues, maintaining muscle, and stabilizing blood sugar. Getting enough protein makes me feel strong and reassured that I'm supporting my body properly. Reading labels helps me compare options, especially with plant-based foods, where protein amounts can vary widely. Beyond the numbers, the ingredient list tells me just as much. Ingredients are listed in order by weight, so the first few make up most of the product. If sugar, corn syrup, or hydrogenated oils are at the top, that's a red flag. I also watch for really long lists full of artificial additives. Not every chemical-sounding ingredient is harmful, but I feel calmer when I recognize most of what I'm eating. Sticking to foods with shorter, simpler ingredient lists makes me feel like I'm fueling my body with real, whole ingredients instead of unknowns. This % daily value column on labels also helps me put nutrients in perspective. It shows how much of each nutrient one serving contributes to a standard 2,000-calorie diet. Even though everyone's needs are different, it's a useful guide. If a food has 40% of my daily sodium in one serving, I know I need to choose lower sodium foods for the rest of the day. For me, this prevents surprises and helps me stay in control. At first, reading nutrition labels felt like one more thing to obsess over. But the more I practiced, the more natural it became. Now, instead of guessing or worrying endlessly, I use the label to get facts. I don't aim for perfection. I still enjoy treats, but I make the majority of my decisions based on what the numbers and ingredients tell me. Over time, that's lowered my anxiety because I know I'm actively managing my risks. Nutrition labels aren't just numbers, they're reassurance. They remind me that I don't have to be powerless when it comes to food. I can take 30 seconds to check the serving size, sugar, sodium, fat, fiber, and ingredients, and then decide if it fits into the way I want to care for my body. That simple habit gives me confidence in my choices and helps calm the constant what-ifs of health anxiety. So, if you're like me and worry about whether your food is helping or hurting you, start reading nutrition labels. At first, it may feel like more fuel for your anxiety, but soon it becomes the opposite. It becomes a tool for peace of mind. Because when you understand what you're eating, you can make decisions with clarity instead of fear. And that's one of the most powerful steps you can take for both your health and your mental well-being.